Hello, today we'll be talking about Ayame Mikuri, the last magical girl of the Azalea group. So let's get started. Ayame Mikuri is a 13-year-old attack-type magical girl. She is 145 centimeters in height, her eyes are green, and her hair is pink. Ayame comes from Sankyo Ward in Kamihama City. Her soul gem is a green 5-point azalea flower located beneath the neck in her magical girl form, looking to look like a choker necklace. Her weapon to fight her opponents and witches is her bow axe. Her wish to become a magical girl was for the orphanage she grew up in to keep existing. Tsujuji House to continue to exist indefinitely. She attends Sigurian Educational Academy in the 7th grade. Her witch and doppel is Ihikshina. Her magical girl element is the fire element, and her ability is invisibility. For a short time, defensive power will improve dramatically. A magical girl raised in an orphanage. She was sent to the Azalea house after her parents abandoned her when she was barely a year old. She's simple and direct, and her wild spirit often gets her caught up in all kinds of trouble. The doppel of forward charge. Its form is a trigger. This doppel represents forward charge. The master of this emotion charges headlong towards those she resents, with perfect accuracy. This doppel is part of the Fox Trinity, is proficient in raw strength, and can flatten any magic that stands before it. Once the doppel's trigger is pulled, it will either strike its enemy dead on or tenaciously chase them around until its master's strength is exhausted. But because it becomes too perfectly concentrated on this target, it won't accept a second command even from its master, and gives absolutely no consideration to collateral damage. As such, caution is required when summoning it. Ayame fights a witch and her familiars with Konoha Shizumi and Hazuki Yusa. Suddenly, Felicia Mitsuki appears and tells her to get out of the way. Ayame protests and the girls start fighting with each other. Hazuki and Konoha tell them to stop. While the girls are able to destroy all the witch familiars, the witch runs off. Felicia and Ayame are still arguing, insisting the others stopped them from fighting the witch. Konoha and Hazuki tell them to cut it out. Ayame challenges Felicia, but Felicia says if there isn't a witch, she'll just go home and watch television. When Ayame says she's running away, Felicia says that Ayame wants to compare her strength. She can just look back to how she beat all the familiars with one single attack. Ayame asks Hazuki to confirm that she killed all the familiars, but Hazuki says it was so frantic she's not sure. Konoha says she couldn't see very well herself, but asks Ayame not to waste her time with pointless arguments. Felicia and Ayame childishly argue some more before they leave. Later, Konoha comments that Ayame always competes with Felicia, but didn't expect it to happen inside a barrier. Ayame says she can't help herself. Hazuki asks if it's because they are almost the same age, but Ayame insists she's older. Ayame admits she doesn't mind losing to Konoha and Hazuki, but she can't lose to Felicia. Konoha says that if Ayame is that preoccupied, she'll have trouble fighting witches. Ayame says that means she needs to beat Felicia once and for all. Hazuki says it can't hurt to have the girls compete, But when Konoha asks if she could stop the girls if they go all out, Hazuki says it's doubtful. Hazuki says that it should be fine if they fight in monetization, claiming that Ayame would fight anyway, even if she was told not to. Ayame says Hazuki knows her really well. Ayame then says she'll have to find out how to fight Felicia next time she sees her. Konoha says she didn't say it was okay to fight. Sometime later, Ayame heads home, only to find Felicia walking. Ayame calls her out, claiming Felicia doesn't have permission to walk in front of her. Kako Natsumi notices Felicia and Ayame and arrives to see them, arguing. Kako says what's going on, explaining she left to buy juice, and now there's just horrible atmosphere between Felicia and Ayame. Felicia and Ayame both insist the other got in their way while they were hunting witches. Ayame says they should end this today, claiming she got permission to fight from Konoha and Hazuki. She didn't. Felicia mocks her for having to get permission to fight. Kako asks Felicia to get back to their plans to go shopping. However, Felicia and Ayame are still in full showing protagonist mode and declare their intent to fight each other. Kako decides she needs to do something and says that it's dangerous if the girls fight. Felicia and Ayame don't care. When Kako asks why the girls want to fight, both girls say they don't want to lose to each other. Kako thinks this is like something she read in her books, but then realizes that isn't something she should be thinking about right now. Kako suggests the girls compete in other ways, like with tongue twisters or collaborative poetry. When the other two reject this, Kako says they should compete in a way they won't get themselves hurt. Ayame suggests they destroy ruins, while Felicia suggests destroying cars. Kako says they shouldn't disrupt their surroundings too much, and suggests they complete in many different things. Ayame says it sounds interesting, while Felicia tells Kako not to pick anything that's too much of a hassle. Kako is relieved, while Ayame narrates that she's starting to get excited. Kako decides the girls will play 5 different games. Kako says what the first game should be, and Felicia says they should compare their strength. Felicia and Ayame start arguing again, and Kako breaks them up. She decides they should compete in arm wrestling. Ayame is happy, since back in the orphanage she grew up in, she was undefeated at arm wrestling. She even beat Hazuki and Konoha. Ayame and Felicia begin the match, and turns out that they're even strength, as the girls devote into battle cries. Kako notices the park table the girls are using is starting to crack, but hastily ends the match to avoid destruction of public property. Felicia says they'll settle this with their fists, but Ayame calls the match a draw. Kako says they should pick a game that won't break anything, and decides to have a bug-catching competition. Kako justifies it by saying it shows who is stronger at precising how their enemies are thinking, in this case, the bugs. Ayame believes she has this match in the bag, since catching bugs and fishing are her specialty. The girls begin to the match. As Ayame climbs between different trees to find bugs, she notices Felicia is staying under a single tree. Kako calls time and tells the girls to show their bugs, but not too close, because she doesn't really like bugs. Ayame shows she caught 20 bugs and demands Kako count them, much to Kako's despair. However, Felicia has a basket overflowing with caterpillars. When Ayame accuses her of cheating, Felicia demonstrates what she did by punching a tree really hard. Caterpillars fall down and onto poor Kako. Kako starts screaming and fighting, hitting Felicia and making her drop her big basket. Ayame says that the bugs Felicia caught are now mixed in the ones she just knocked it down. Felicia admits she didn't count how many she caught. Ayame asks if they should have a rematch, But Kako declares there is no way that will happen. Later, she suggests the girls try an art contest. Kako figures the girls should draw the same thing, and Ayame suggests they draw Kako. Felicia agrees, and Kako wonders if they draw her pretty. Ayame declares they should draw the strongest picture, making Kako wonder if she means to be more skilled picture. The composition then begins. Afterwards, Kako looks at Ayame's drawing and is horrified to see herself drawn as very muscular. She then looks at Felicia, who drew Kako holding tons of weapons. Oh my god, poor Kako. When Kako asks why she was drawn in this way, Felicia says it's supposed to be long and strong. Ayame admits it's pretty good. Kako realized that this is what Ayame meant when she wanted to draw a strong picture, and was surprised both girls got the same idea. The girls ask who won. Felicia says that her armed to the teeth Kako is better than Ayame's buffy muscles Kako. Ayame insists her Kako's muscles can deflect bullets. Felicia says that's ridiculous. Kako says she was judging the girls' artistic ability, not which drawing was stronger. She declares the match a tie because she finds both portrayals of herself equally deformed. The girls ask what the next competition will be. Kako is relieved that there is no longer thinking about fighting each other. Kako declares that the next game will determine the winner. Ayame believes she'll win the next match. Kako declares the next match will be an intelligent test, to the crashing of despair of Ayame and Felicia. Kako says all the girls have to do is answer her questions correctly first. Kako asks a question about Aesop's fables, but Felicia and Kako are completely silent. Felicia and Ayame are completely silent. She then asks who were the animal companions of the famous Japanese folk hero, Momotaro, but both Felicia and Ayame gave the wrong answers. Unable to think of another question, Kako declares the match is another tie. She then suggests to think up a suitable match for the final competition. Felicia suggests they fight it out, but Kako shoots it down immediately. Ayame suggests they have a speed contest. Kako wants it to be speed reading, but Felicia wants something more physical. Ayame indicates a pillar and says whoever climbs to the top first wins. Kako says that the pillar goes up 10 of meters. Felicia says it's a great idea and asks if they can attack each other while they're climbing. Kako shoots her down as well, and Felicia says she's kidding. Kako starts the final match, letting the show in the cries battle. Felicia and Ayame race up the pillar. I feel like they're gonna get stuck. But Kako marvels at how Felicia is running up the pillar like it's a ground, while Ayame rock climbs like a feral child. Kako yells at the girls not to break the pillar. On the way up, both Felicia and Ayame are impressed by the other's skills. Both of them declare they won't lose. Suddenly, the girls run into a witch's spear. Felicia immediately goes berserk and heads after the witch. Ayame says she wants to help, but Felicia says she can do this on her own. The witch moves away and attacks Felicia and Ayame. Ayame knows that the witch is tough, but Felicia insists she'll defeat the witch on her own. Ayame suddenly flashes back to her orphanage. Because she was always pushy and demanding, no one ever wanted to play with her. Konoha claimed Ayame was too serene and she had trouble reading her surroundings. To Ayame, Asuki and Konoha were the only ones who stood by her. Ayame thinks about how Konoha and Hazuki always understood her, and then wonders what Felicia is thinking right now. Coming to a realization, Ayame tells Felicia that if she wants to beat the witch no matter what, then there is no point in fighting alone. After a long pause, Felicia says expensives, but then starts laughing. Felicia agrees, and the girls team up to destroy the witch. Reappearing in the park, the girls are met by Kako, who seems to enter the barrier. Felicia thanks Ayame for the help, and Kako notices their competitive aura is gone. Kako is surprised to learn the girls worked together to beat the witch. Felicia realizes they never finished their race, and the both girls decide on having a rematch. Both Ayame and Felicia say they don't plan on losing, as the girls climb the pillar again. Kako admits she has no idea how this has happened, but is relieved it worked it out. As she climbs, Amaya admits that while she doesn't want to lose, she's fine with not winning. Ayame narrates that she has no choice but to acknowledge Felicia, and that Kamihama has strong people. Her first name, Ayame, is Japanese name for the iris flower, specifically the blood iris. And her last name, Mikuri, means tree and chestnut, respectively. Fact 1. Her illustrator is Yugen, who's also both the illustrator of Hazuki Yusa and Konoha Shizumi, the other two Azuli magical girls. Fact 2. Her card art, as Ayame levels up, the pink rabbit sock on her leg grows progressively more monstrous until it begins to come alive and ultimately leap from her leg entirely once you get to the 5-star. Now that's creepy. Fact 3. Her doppel is named after Ihikshina Hime, one of 3 sister goddesses created by Amaterasu and Sensuno. And it is noted to be part of the Kinsusu Ken. It likely represents the hunter. Her sisters, Konoha and Hazuki, have doppels named after the 2 other sisters in the trifecta. Fact 4. Ayame's Japanese voice actor is Ibuki Kido, who you may know for other voices, some Aikatsu characters, mainly Mao Minato from Friends in On Parade. She's also the voice of Asami Harumo and Kurumi Mori in the original Aikatsu. She also plays Ria Hagri in Oraimo, Yumi Hasegawa in Pupa, and recently Samugi in Princess Connect Redrive Season 2, and a bunch more other roles. And that was Ayame Mikuri. Next time, I'm gonna go over Murasa Kagami. So see you then.